The following video and very existence of this channel is made possible by your support over on patreon.com/616entertainment. I couldn't do this without you, and I thank you kindly for keeping the dream alive. Want a kick-ass shirt? Head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment and pick one up. Oh, what's up, Dandans? My name is Ian. Welcome to the final episode of the GM Showdown podcast. I am joined, as always, by the general manager of the year, the showrunner of Stone Cold Combustion, No Taxes, Nigel Bravo.
How's it going, Ian? Yeah, I'm the best wrestling general manager / booker man, Booker Man Jones. I'm the best booker in the business, in the world, officially now.
You know, people have been talking about Stone Cold Combustion 1 GM Showdown. Oh, there's the official trophy that I wrote your name out very nicely on the nameplate.
Yeah, fucking Tony wiped it off at Artist Bachelor Party. You believe that shit?
Artist Bachelor Party, Tony picks it up, smudges it, and goes, "This isn't a Sharpie?" And it's like, well, what are you just doing this for?
Don't go rubbing on people's trophies.
What does it say on the trophy itself?
You can't really tell because of the reflection, but it says you're the best, and that is factual. That is factual now. I am technically the best.
I considered buying a pink trophy that had a woman on top of it that said "Girl Power," but I opted for that one instead.
I would have liked that too,
yeah.
So it's all right.
Maybe if I won, I would have bought that one.
I've been drinking my milk from this.
Oh, your
day.
Milk. You got to have your milks.
Yeah, championship milk, you know, that Kurt Angle milk.
That fight milk.
That Cody Rhodes milk.
Oh, you don't want that Cody Rhodes milk.
No.
Because he gets it when you're not looking.
Hey, man, if I'm not looking, it doesn't count.
Oh, so Dandans, what we're going to do on today's episode of the GM Showdown podcast, and for those of you joining us here on YouTube for the GM Showdown podcast, Nigel and I did 2 other episodes that were Patreon exclusive, but now that the show is over and today we're going to reveal the winners of the GM Showdown Awards, we wanted to share this publicly with everybody, so we're here on YouTube. We're going to go through Week 9 all the way to Week 12 where it was supposed to end, but then there was also a Week 13 because we were all tied up. But before we get into the storylines that were going on and the match results and everything, I think what we should do is start off with one of the GM Showdown awards. Now, over on patreon.com/616entertainment, the polls were open to everybody, as I stated a million times. You did not have to be a paying member. Public polls. The entire community, all the Dandans, the Combustion Cultists, and the Shockwave Soldiers were able to cast their votes and make their voices heard. And I think what we're going to start off with, Nigel, is the award for Breakout Star of the Year. Now, a Breakout Star of the Year is a wrestler that was featured prominently across the entire season of GM Showdown. These do not have to be people who won championships and defended them 25 times. These don't have to be people with undefeated records. These are wrestlers or characters that showed up and they just blew you away, either with performances or good storylines. And I'll get your input on this, Nigel, but let me introduce the nominees first. Our first nominee from Stone Cold Combustion was Doink the Clown. And for
number one clown,
and what I put for Doink the Clown was Returned from the Dead, Fooled Randy Savage. Our second nominee was Beetlejuice, who was a Shockwave Tag Team Champion, was later stolen by Combustion, and had a match of his own with Beetlejuice on the final episode. Third nominee was Johnny Cage, Stone Cold Combustion star, and I wrote 0 notable accomplishments, but consistently delivered good matches. This is what I mean by Breakout Star. And our final nominee was The Maniac, who was a Shockwave World Tag Team Champion, had impressive single performances without his partner Scott Steiner. Now, before I get to who won, Nigel, what did you think of the nominees, and did you vote yourself?
I voted, yeah. Absolutely. I voted for, I think Doink for this one.
Sure. And I feel like Doink is an easy choice. There were Dandans who were like, Doink should be up for Wrestler of the Year. We'll get to
Absolutely.
We'll get to
Doink
that later.
Should have been in every category.
That's what I was avoiding, was too much repetition in the categories.
Best promotion, Doink.
What do you think of the other nominees? Beetlejuice, Johnny Cage, and the Maniac.
They're all good. I'm surprised you didn't toss in old Roman Reigns for you on from your side.
Roman Reigns is nominated.
I can see him being in there.
Roman is nominated for Wrestler of the Year. So
okay,
I didn't want to.
The same thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to do, because Roman won 2 of 3 All-Star Collisions. I feel like, and I mean, he's a star. I mean, like, breakout star. I don't know if he fits there. He's a perennial main event guy. But like Doink, you took a character that people have not really thought of in a long time, and he became like the face of your brand.
Absolutely. I didn't even want him in the draft, but then I was like, I'm going to make this kid a star.
This kid.
This old clown kid, I'm going to make him a star.
I casted a vote as well, and
Did you vote for Johnny Cage?
I voted for the Maniac. So we
classic.
Each voted for our own guys, which is fair, you know?
Yeah.
If I was not allowed to vote because I put up the polls and you voted, that would be bullshit. But we were both able to vote, so that's totally up and up. That's totally fair. I felt like the Maniac, I figured out going
Do you remember that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry David's in line to like vote for an election and the line's too long and he sees a guy who's like gonna vote for the other side and he's like, what if we just go home? It cancels each other out. And they make a deal and they're just like, okay,
That's very Larry
home.
David. I knew going into week 1, when I first got the Maniac, I was excited because not only did I want him, but I knew you wanted him.
We both wanted him. Oh,
you wanted him real
the
bad.
Maniac.
When I got him, I was like, what am I going to do with this guy? Like, a lot of the Dandans probably don't know who he is. It's Roddy Piper, but it's a character from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then when I got Scott Steiner, I was like, oh, there it is. Steiner and the Maniac. And then they held
Turned out being a great team.
Great tag team. They held the titles for a long time. But without further ado, so this episode's not 3 hours long, Nigel, are you ready for me to announce the winner of Breakout Star of the Year?
Go for it. Who won?
The recipient of the first GM Showdown award is the Maniac and Doink the Clown. We have a dead tie for first place.
Oh no, really?
So, and hey, that's fine. We're
gonna have to do a sudden death series.
The Dandans,
so we're gonna have to do.
They let their voices be heard, and it's very clear that Doink and the Maniac are both huge stars. So they both walk away with an award here tonight.
Wow. Dead even, huh?
I'm looking at the votes right now. And you know what's funny is it was 2 ties. Johnny Cage and Beetlejuice both each got 3% of the vote. And Doink and the Maniac each got 47% of the vote. So, wow. It was very clear, damn near 50-50, Doink and the Maniac. So we have co-winners of the first award. What do you think about that?
I think that's bullshit. And I think all the people that voted for the Maniac, you're out of your ass. You're out of your ass. I'm
okay with the co-winners. You are not. You're upset about it, but...
Man, one more vote. That's the thing. If Doink got blown away, that's one thing, but one vote away. Who voted for Johnny Cage? Your vote should have went for Doink.
I mean, I can tell you who voted for who. I can click download results and I can get a list. But...
Yeah, send me that list and I'll send it to my guy. We'll take care of it. But you said Johnny Cage had no important wins. That's not necessarily true. He did defeat Beetlejuice.
I wrote 0 notable accomplishments.
Beetlejuice is a former Shockwave Tag Champ.
Sure, but you say it's bullshit that the Maniac beat Doink. The Maniac won and held gold for a long time. Doink held Beetlejuice's ball sack. And that's about it. But
all right, well,
co-winners
I didn't think it would be a tie. That's crazy.
You know what? I'm happy with that tie because I think we both took characters that who would have expected that, and they were both big time.
Yeah, who would expect them to be mainstays of our show, you know?
Did you ever waver on Doink? I feel like before the Alexa reveal, you had hit a point where you were like, I feel like I've gotten all the juice out of this orange, right?
Yeah, I mean, originally, when he died and came back, it was buried behind the arena, in the graveyard behind the arena. And then I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it from there, you know? Mm-hmm. I had such a good storyline off the get-go. But then getting weirder and weirder with Doink throughout the season, I think was the best part of my show. Absolutely.
I think everybody loved that part of your show. And what we'll do now is we'll get away from the awards, and we will talk quite a bit about that final month, which was week 9 through week 13, because we had the extra episode. Tell me about what you did with Doink throughout this last month, because you also got Beetlejuice. You stole Beetlejuice from my brand after Stone Crow Mud Show. Talk me through the Doink angle for this last month, because I don't feel like, before you go, I don't feel like it went exactly how you wanted it to, and you kind of had to mash together.
Absolutely not. Doink, when I got Steel, when I spun the wheel and I landed on Steel and I took your Beetlejuice, I thought, wow, I'm going to put him with Doink. It's going to be Doink Juice, right? Even better name than Pickle Juice. Way better name than Pickle Juice. Leave a comment now, Dandan. Way better name. Number one name. Doink Juice, I had the great idea. I'm like, Doink Juice is going to win Tag Team Gold. They're going to beat the Quan Glee region. And then Beetlejuice will be a 2-time tag champ, you know, one on each brand. That would have been huge.
That would have been very cool.
And I thought for sure him and Doink would do it, but they lost their first match teaming together, and that threw all my plans out that goddamn window, because wins and losses matter on my programs. All right? I thought the swerve by having... Another thing that was fucked up was you took my Macho Man. You stole my Macho Man, who just beat Johnny Cage again, and... we were gonna go into Macho Man was gonna feud with Doink, you know, and then I was gonna toss Beetlejuice and have him run tag team of the year, right? Nope. You steal my Macho Man. I'm like, okay, well I could do Doink versus Cage, I guess. But then I thought, well, I'll just throw Beetlejuice instead of Doink, secret opponent, and it didn't matter if Beetlejuice lost that match, really, you know. That was sort of just more mind games, more Doink. Mind games, but I didn't expect Doink Juice to lose. I wanted them to be legends.
So, were you gonna put Doink Juice all the way through to the tag titles? Was that the move?
Oh,
Doink Juice
that was
versus
the plan.
Quan Glee.
But they fucking lost right off the get-go, and there's not really enough time to really come back from that loss, I feel like, you know? We only had 3 weeks or whatever.
Well, and see, that's a great point, too, is not to go into, like, a huge storyline, but we did a bunch of deals, not just in the Monopoly, the All-Star Game of Champions for Monopoly, which the Danans can watch on 6/16/2023. But we did deals in this last month where I got Green Lantern as one of my final signings, and I traded him to you for Charlotte Flair. Because to me, I was like, Green Lantern is a cool character and I could do something with him, but I feel like I could get better matches out of Charlotte. And I had every match that I was going to do was already planned out, and there was nowhere to really put Green Lantern in. So I got Charlotte from you, and it's like you said, in the last month, it's like, I can't just start a whole new angle. I got all this shit to pay off. I started and paid off a bunch of shit, so we got down to the wire there, and I feel like that was when we were the best with our storytelling. But when the end is that close, it's like I'm kind of hamstrung to do what I plan to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or whatever the match results lead to, you know?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of wiggle room left near the end.
No. What other deals did we do? I also...
You stole my Kevin Nash.
You stole my Kevin Nash.
Okay, let's get this straight, okay?
Sure.
I get free pick, I pick Kevin Nash, right? You get Steel, you steal my Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
I get Steel, I steal him back. My rightful Nash comes back to his combustion home.
Second steal is worse than first steal.
You can go fuck yourself. You're out of your goddamn mind.
You said you wanted to get it straight. That's getting it straight.
Everyone thinks you're mean for that, dude.
No. Big Sexy belonged on the red brand.
No.
He wears red. He went to his seamstress and he got brand new red shit because I signed him and he was so happy to be on Shockwave. And then you stole him back and he said, I'm not going back to the seamstress. I'm just going to wear red.
As an insult to you.
No, to you. He's wearing red on your show.
And he's just a little... He's showing you what you could have had if you were a little bit smarter and you had another steal.
It's a random wheel. There's no strategy. The strategy comes when you get free pick or steal. And with my steal, I stole Kevin Nash. And then you stole him back. You're the worst thief.
Yeah, but you also stole my Macho Man, dude.
Absolutely.
Coming off hot. Now, what was going through your mind with that Macho Man steal?
The thing for me was, I did not steal him because you had the doink thing going, and I wanted to take that payoff away from you. I wasn't even thinking about what you were doing. When I got steal, I was like, I want to do Savage in my world title picture. So that's why when I took him, the first thing, because I also got Shawn Michaels after Mud Show with one of my last signings, and I was like, Savage and Michaels, fucking, that's going to give me 100% just right there. And it came close. I think I got a 90-something out of that. And then that battle, full disclosure, the reason Shawn Michaels came out towards the end of that Battle Royal is because I was banking on Savage Michaels too. Because I wanted to get another 90-something. So Shawn had to win that Battle Royal, but he almost got eliminated by Ziggler. But I think Ziggler and Savage would have been money too. Not that it would have mattered, because whoever faced Scorpion was going to get blown out at the bloodbath anyway. So, but yeah, taking Savage was just a world title picture / he's a money man as far as ratings go. That's all I was thinking.
Well, I'll never forgive you for either of your steals, so...
That's fair. I think at this juncture, we talked about a couple angles. I think we should hand out another GM Showdown award. And this one will be for the biggest disappointment of the year. So I'm going to read what I wrote on Patreon, which was... This category may be controversial, but hey, that's the name of the game. It's no secret that I wanted CM Punk versus Stone Cold for the world title at the first pay-per-view, but Jax ruined that. There were several complaints over Nigel's continued firings of his world champions, but it's a hold on. But it's a competition he wanted to win. Then there's the issue of great builds and terrible payoffs, like Angle versus Rhodes and Scorpion versus Savage. So there are the nominees. We have Nigel repeatedly fires his world champions. Jax demolishes CM Punk in the very first episode. After the huge milk and DNA build, Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle sucks. And in the final Shockwave main event, Scorpion squashes Savage in a terrible match. So no punches pulled, you know?
They're all pretty good options. I'm surprised you didn't put in the Doink versus Jason Voorhees, the bomb not going off in the exploding ring.
I mean, that was...
It's pretty disappointing.
I would have put that in, but I felt like you kind of washed that away with Doink Beetlejuice at the Bloodbath.
True, the Psycho Circus match, yeah.
I feel like it made the explosion better that we didn't get it in week 2 or 3 or whatever.
Until the final episode, yeah. Okay.
So did you vote in this one? Because I did not. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't.
I probably voted for Macho Man getting squashed, I think.
Okay. So
because I don't think, let me be honest here, I don't think me firing my champions was a disappointment. Those were beautiful stories I told. cancel Ultimate Warrior. What a more prolific modern story. Wrestlers should be canceled on TV. Cancel them, guys.
Well, you
Cancel
want
big time.
You also want to kill Sting in the ring.
I would kill Sting in the middle of the ring. Absolutely, absolutely. But Rey Mysterio, he was hurt in a horrible Mexican hospital, and I fired him while he was hurt. That's kind of carny move right there. But I never fired them while they were champs. I almost did.
This is what I'm saying, is you built up this reputation of, if your champions were not doing numbers, you were going to get them out of there, and then you were going to get them off the show. And
that's what you got to do.
Well, see, you say that, but, like, I could have done that with Scorpion. But
I don't think you could have. You don't have that mastermind to book it.
The thing is, for a competition, I should have followed your lead, but I didn't. And I think people were disappointed because they were just like, is he just going to keep doing this? Like, if his world title is not doing numbers, he's just going to keep cutting people. But it doesn't matter because that got the least amount of votes.
I did not fire Kurt Angle, and he was delivering stinker after stinker as champ. Well, a little bit better than Warrior and Ray, but it still wasn't what I wanted for my main event scene.
You couldn't get the belt off him.
That's true.
The thing is, you firing your world champions got the least amount of votes. So people were upset, but far less upset than they were with the rest of this. We'll go through the rest later, but the winner for biggest disappointment of the year is Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle, being a piece of shit match after great build-up. And here's the thing, Scorpion Savage and Rhodes Angle were trading the leadership over the week that these polls were live. And had Scorpion versus Savage won, even though I would have been stuck with the disappointment branding, I still would have been proud, because what that means is it was a good build and then just the payoff sucked. Because nobody argues that Cody and Kurt was not great and then it was just a bad finish. So this is still, you should feel good that you won this award.
Well, I feel great. Because
Good.
One, the bad payoff plays into the story perfectly. Oh my God, the mind games worked.
Sure.
Kurt Angle's mind games got in Cody's head. He's thinking about, who's my real dad? I got a real dad. He's an Aussie. Well, he's dead now. He was an Aussie. And then he got squashed, That's perfect. Like, I think wrestling companies need to have a wily, cheating, horrible heel champs. They should outsmart faces some of the times, and it should pay off like that.
It's what MJF keeps doing to Darby. At the pay-per-view, he could have pinned Darby after Darby hit the belt, but he had to pin him with a headlock takeover again.
Yeah, just add insult to injury.
But a very close second would be both of my nominees. Jax demolishes CM Punk in the first episode, and Scorpion Savage both got 27% apiece. So what this tells me is people are far less annoyed with us pulling bullshit than they are with a great build having a bad payoff. That disappoints them more than anything, which is that's a good piece of information to have if we ever do a season 2, At this point, unfortunately, what I'm saying is, I feel like you can get away with murder.
Well, if I get Sting, I'm killing him in the middle of the ring. Get ready to be disappointed, guys.
God damn it. So that's 2 GM Showdown awards that have been handed out. The Maniac and Doink Breakout Stars of the Year. Cody Rhodes, Kurt Angle, biggest disappointment of the year. Now, we talked about your Doink Beetlejuice angle. I want to talk about my CM Punk and Iggy Pop angle that I ran for this past month. Now, when we did our final round of signings after the Mud Show, I got 2 guys that at first I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with these? Do I pull a revolting blob and not even use them? And
That should have been biggest disappointment. You not using revolting blob.
I never told anybody I had him. So if I pulled who's that guy on Raw? Is it Veer or Ver? Veer is coming, and then he never shows up. If I did that with the Blob, actually that would have been a really good idea.
It would have been funny. That would have been great.
So the two signings that I got, actually it was 3. Smoke from Mortal Kombat, Dracula, and Iggy Pop. That was like my last round of signings, and I was like, "What? This is not what I wanted. Like, these are not the kind of guys that I wanted to bring in going into the last month." And I figured out what to do with them. With Iggy Pop, I decided to pair him with CM Punk, and I did this whole Pop versus Punk angle. And Iggy Pop wants to take CM Punk out because he wants the rightful ownership of Punk. He's the godfather of Punk. Iggy and the Stooges. He wants to change his name to Iggy Punk. He deserves it. And so he murders the staff of Mindy's Bakery, and he puts blood on CM Punk's hands because Punk only had time to disarm one set of bombs. Punk has the Stooges eaten alive by cheetahs in an enclosure in the Serengeti. And he puts Punk on Iggy's hands because Iggy couldn't beat Dolph Ziggler inside the time limit, blah, blah, blah. It comes down to a cage match at Beautiful Bloodbath. Punk basically beats the shit out of him, which is fine. I really liked this storyline, and I was very proud of it. You have said that it's the best thing that I did, in your opinion.
Oh, it's your best thing on your show by far.
Dude,
oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, people in the comments did not like this angle.
That's because they're dumb fucks.
The people in the comments were like, if comments came through with Punk and Iggy Pop, there weren't many of them, and if there were, I don't feel like they were very positive.
That's crazy. I mean, you had the classic fucking Batman, are you going to go save Rachel or are you going to go save Harvey Dent? You know, the choice. You had terrorism, you had cheetahs.
Yeah.
You had cheetahs. Dude, it was amazing.
Nobody picked up on the fact that the reason I did cheetahs was from Search and Destroy. Street walking cheetah with a heart full of napalm. Yeah. The heart full of napalm was the bombs. The street walking cheetah was the enclosure in the Serengeti. Do I have to spell this shit out for people? Apparently I do.
I mean, maybe a lot of your viewers are young and just don't know who Iggy Pop is.
That's a goddamn shame. Well, you know what? No, there's no excuse. They're not young. I can see the analytics. Most of my audience is 25 to fucking 48, but...
Well, they should know.
So they're just uncultured.
Uncultured, yeah. I mean, just the fighting for naming rights, wrestling needs more stuff like that. Like, if I ever was a wrestler, my gimmick would be if I beat someone, I get to change their entrance music. So I'd be making everyone coming out to awesome death metal and stuff as I beat people.
Yes.
But then it'd probably pay off where I lose, and then I got to come out to fucking Barbie Girl Forever or something, you know, horrible. Or the IRS theme song.
That's also like the Rights to Censor theme song in a way.
That's what I meant by IRS, yeah. Right to Censor. The worst song of all time. But that fighting for name rights, that's great. That's great stuff.
I liked it a lot, and the thing is, like everything that I did in this last month, I don't know how, everything that I wanted to happen...
It played out perfectly.
Perfectly. And like, there were people who also didn't understand. They were just like, oh... Roman Reigns beats CM Punk. That's great for the angle. Yes, it is. Iggy Pop has all the... It's like Cody Rhodes and Kurt Angle. Mind games. Punk is thinking about these bombs that are going to go off. Roman Reigns is one of my strongest guys on the roster. Why do you think I put Punk with Roman? Punk was supposed to lose. And now, did I know that Roman was going to knock him out in 6 minutes? No, that actually made it better. And then... Dolph Ziggler and Iggy Pop, while Punk is pulling the bullshit, do you think I thought Iggy Pop was going to beat Dolph Ziggler? No! They were both fucking with each other, and then they finally get their hands on each other inside a cage where there's nowhere to go, because that's how I did everything, you know? It would start with the seed, and then we go boom, 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 and then we finally do the match. Which is... In a show like this, it's hard to cook something for a full month, but, you know.
Well, you were smart by planning on, you know, hoping these guys would lose and stuff. It's when you plan for certain guys to win and then they don't, then that kind of could fuck with your story. So you played this out perfectly. Beautiful storytelling from you. Best part of Shockwave, hands down.
Tell me about storytelling for 1 second. I got to check on something.
Well, when it comes to storytelling in wrestling, I mean, guys, you telling me you don't like muffin makers, muffin men, muffin women blowing up in an act of terrorism? You don't like an old leathery punk rocker who looks better shirtless than Ian and I ever will? Getting his ass kicked and his old bandmates getting fed to cheetahs? Come on, guys. How does no one like this story? It was great stuff.
That was perfect.
I want to feed old punk rockers to cheetahs just for fun.
I mean, you've done it. You've done it in real life.
I think one of my favorite parts of that angle was me acting like the Stooges were the Three Stooges.
That was very good. The other thing is, I went on Wikipedia, because honestly, I don't know who the Stooges are. I know
no
who,
one does.
I know who Iggy is. The thing is, there's been like 15 Stooges, and like 12 of them are dead. So, and most of them died young. So what I did was I literally went on Google and just typed in like old man, full body, so that I could have like these renders of old men on this platform. But whatever, most people hated the Iggy Pop versus CM Punk angle, and I think we should hand out another award, this time for Storyline of the Year. What do you say?
Hey, speaking of stories, best story of the year, let's go.
So, my write-up was, what a year it was for storylines, Dans, between Cody Rhodes stealing Kurt Angle's DNA, CM Punk and Iggy Pop taking turns murdering each other's closest friends, Doink having sex with Macho Man under an Alexa Bliss mask, and Rocky and Apollo going from partners to enemies before reuniting and winning the titles. This show had it all. Which angle was your favorite? So, our nominees: Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes Take two. Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes spilt milk and stolen DNA. Nominee 2, Iggy Pop and CM Punk murders in the War of Punk. Nominee 3, Alexa Bliss and Doink secret sexcapades. And nominee 4, Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed good friends, bitter enemies, undisputed champions. Now, did you vote in this poll?
I think I did.
Do you know who you voted for?
I think I voted for Doink Alexa storyline.
Well, I thought maybe you would say that you voted for Iggy Pop and CM Punk, Murders in the War of Punk, because that got 1 vote.
Maybe that was me then. I don't know.
I can find out for sure later. But when I said people did not like that storyline, you and I loved it. Yeah, it did not get votes. The winner of Storyline of the Year, Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, good friends, bitter enemies, undisputed champions, with 51% of the vote.
Oh, wow.
Alexa Bliss and Doink secret sexcapades, 40% of the vote. Very close. Very close. Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes, 8% of the vote. So,
oh man, I'm robbing myself there by having so many great storylines.
See, that's the thing too, is like Kurt and Cody, along with Punk and Iggy, in my opinion, both really good. But the Alexa Doink and Rocky Apollo just completely cannibalized everything else. You know, they dominated the polls. But I have the Rocky and Apollo storyline is my favorite thing that I did all year. Like, I liked Iggy and Punk, but Rocky and Apollo I started the first week. And I can't say, I'm not going to try and like pull the wool over everybody's eyes and say, oh, the whole time I wanted them to lose, break up, feud, get back together, win the titles. I initially just wanted them to win the titles, and then they got eliminated in the first round. So that kind of fast-tracked what I wanted to do, but them going to war, Apollo disappears for a while, Rocky gets a title shot, loses, they're both gone for a while, and then they feud with John Cena and Dracula, and that's why this is one of my favorite things, is like, I got so much out of this. Like, I don't even consider John Cena and Dracula against Rocky and Apollo its own thing, even though it is. But for me, that was just one chapter of the Rocky Apollo angle. And I'll talk more about that later. But Rocky and Apollo winning the tag titles at Bloodbath, getting that ultimate payoff, I think that's why this won Storyline of the Year. And had they not won the titles, I think Alexa Bliss and Doink runs away with this poll. I think it was literally the title win at the end that solidified it. What do you think?
I mean, I'm thinking you got a lot of CM Punk type people watching this show. A lot of people who've never seen a Rocky movie. That's what I think.
What do you mean?
Your whole storyline is just rehashing the IP of the Rocky films.
Did Rocky and
Which
Apollo...
is why I don't like it as much as your, CM Punk versus Iggy Pop fighting for name rights. That's an original story. This is just Rocky all over again.
Did Rocky and Apollo team up to fight Clubber Lang and Ivan Drago? No.
They teamed up. They teamed up against the Russian.
No, see, if I had
They teamed up when Apollo was training Rocky.
I had considered doing Rocky and Apollo in a kickboxing rules match, and then I decided...
You got scared of the rating. Right?
I decided against it because I didn't know how it would draw, and in my own head I was like, that would be telling the same story. My whole thing was like, we've seen them in the boxing ring, we've never seen them with barbed wire and explosions, But I argue that it's not a rehash. I would argue that it's not, because it's a team-based thing.
Hey, man, what can you do? There's no accounting for taste.
So
you're telling me a clown dressing up as a babe, banging people. Johnny Cage banged Doink a lot, too. A lot of people forget about that. Those rumors were going around that they were banging for weeks.
Sure.
I don't know. That was just so fun for me. I thought for sure that would win. But...
I'm not undercutting that at all. I love that. And I thought that would win, and I thought I was going to be very disappointed that Rocky and Apollo did not win. But luckily my boys came through. But Alexa and Doink, I think, is without a doubt the best thing you did.
I mean, the best thing I did was every week. I just had something great every week, and that's why, I ended up with this. But congratulations on winning Story of the Year. I do like that it goes from week 1 all the way to the end,
Yeah.
I like that aspect. You got a lot of use out of Sylvester Stallone and his alternate attires. There was an all-time draft for you, for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's a question that we're going to take about Dracula and stuff later, so I'll go further into that then. But we're going from my Rocky and Apollo storyline to, I want to know in detail with, I won't call him my Kevin Nash because I don't want to start the argument, but Kevin Nash winds up becoming your number 1 contender, and he actually dethrones your dominant champion, Kurt Angle, at the Bloodbath, which I think took both of us by surprise. I want to know from you what that was and what that process was, because as the guy who did not have the pencil, as just a viewer, to me at the end it did not seem like you knew what you wanted to do with your world title. Like, you were kind of playing week to week. There wasn't like a story, it was more tournament style.
Well, yeah, my world title scene, the whole show was a mess. It was dog shit garbage ratings, I'm getting fucking 55, 52s, and 60s, It's not what I wanted at all out of my main event scene.
Sure.
So that took the backseat to, the tag division and all this other stories I was telling. I mean, I got that nice Cody Rhodes and Kurt Angle storyline going near the end there, but... Kevin Nash, there wasn't really much to that story other than him just winning important matches, Beats Kenny Omega in his debut. That I set up because I'm like, I want either one of these guys to end up with a title shot down the road,
You gotta love no wrong answer sort of match.
Yeah. I think I learned from my mistakes earlier in the season, and it's like, I gotta put guys that I want to win,
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would never have put Ultimate Warrior in a title match. If I thought he could ever win it. But,
well, and to your point, that's why when you talk about learning from earlier mistakes, that's why I chose Roman Reigns to go against Punk during the Iggy Pop storyline, was because I needed Punk to lose, so I needed somebody who I knew could beat him. But also, I knew the whole time that Roman was going to be in All-Star Collision 3. He was going to be my guy for those the whole time. So I did not want him to be off TV for a month. I was like, I'm going to have him beat a guy who's involved in some big shit. So not only did you see him recently, but he won recently. I know he can beat Punk, so I'm going to put him in there with Punk. Yeah. So it's that sort of thing.
I had the Green Lantern too. You know, he turned out to be a better wrestler than we imagined when he beat The Rock. That got a good rating.
So, did part of you? I would imagine that you were like, well, Rock is going to beat Green Lantern, and then I'll have.
I thought for sure Rock would beat Green Lantern, absolutely. So then it would be like Rock versus Kevin Omega, and
the winner
Kenny
of
Nash.
Yeah,
Kenny Nash. Yeah, Kevin Nash or Kenny Omega, you know, and then either one of those guys wins, I'm happy, you know, and hopefully they could beat that bald fucker Kurt Angle. But, yeah, Green Lantern goes over and does some crazy shit.
He was interesting, too, because
he could steal finishers, which is cool.
That was, like, one of his big things was he would steal finishers, which was great for bonus points Bravo. But he also, like, he was not overpowered like Scorpion because he had no gas tank.
You know, he would take a beating and then get gas.
7 minutes into a match, he was like... it was like, oh shit, what's going to happen here? But he has good matches with Nash and The Rock. And I think you took him off TV after that, right?
After he lost to Kevin Nash. I don't think we saw... Or maybe, was he in that four-way for my...
He was.
For my collision spot? Yeah, I think that's... So
you say, well, that's another question regarding like the world title picture is you say the 4-way for the collision spot. That's what it wound up being. But during that episode, if you watch it back, you didn't
keep
know.
Asking me, you're fishing like you want me to reveal stuff, but now we did the first 2 collisions, Omega versus Roman, and I know you wanted that trilogy.
Yes.
But I didn't want to reveal who I was putting in the All-Star Collision. I did not want to tell you. I didn't want to tell the Dandans.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
Well, no. See, I kept stringing you along and saying, maybe it'll be Kenny. Yeah, I can maybe do 3, but I was playing mind games with you, too. But I already knew after 2, I'm like, I'm not letting Kenny get loose to Roman again.
He beat him the second time.
I know, but I don't like that he lost the first time. And honestly, I feel like if we did the same match for all 3 All-Star Collisions, I feel like a lot of people probably would have complained about it. There's some that would like the trilogy, you know, the big fight feel, but I feel a lot of people will be like, oh, we already saw this, but I don't know. So
you say that, but... And maybe you could...
Plus, I wanted Kenny to win my main belt or my tag belts. You know, I wanted him with gold.
You say...
coming off that win to cash in towards some gold.
You say people could have complained if we did the trilogy, and we won't know because that's not what happened, but we do know that we did not do it, and there were complaints that it was not the trilogy. They were like...
Who complained?
There were probably... It wasn't a ton. There were probably like 5 or 6 comments, but there were people who were like, what happened to 3? Like, what the fuck?
Well, you know, if I was smart... I would have kept Ultimate Warrior and just put him in my collision. Every time. He could have been my collision bruiser, you know?
I mean, we're just being fully transparent because we're not, the red light for GM Showdown's not on, so we don't have to be as performative. We have not guaranteed that we're going to do a season 2. I think we would both like to, but we haven't, like, talked about it officially. I have the conundrum of I would be a fucking idiot to keep my world title on Scorpion. But also, should I keep Scorpion in the background for All-Star Collisions? But is that even a good idea? Because he lost at Sudden Death Series. I know he's not bulletproof. So...
And, you know, I say, you know, Warrior would have won all my collisions, but we were setting up the matches, and Warrior lost to who?
Okay, so for the Dandans, when we recorded Sudden Death Series, it was Nigel, myself, and the artist formerly known as Mike Charles. And Because I think we hung out and we watched Wrong Turn 4 that night or some shit. I don't know.
We were doing something else. Yeah.
And while I was setting up the lights and the computer and the microphone and everything, I was just simming matches, just so there was something going on in the room, something to talk about. And so I simmed Ultimate Warrior versus Jason Voorhees, which were two guys that Nigel had cut. And Jason beat the dog shit out of Warrior and squashed him in like
Jason
5 minutes.
Squashed the Warrior. And then I'm like, I should have kept Jason and put him in my collisions.
We have a question coming up later regarding what's your biggest regret. Maybe that will be your answer.
Yeah, but, I like... Did I officially kill him
Jason?
off the show? Yeah. Did I say he died in the death match? I don't remember.
No, I think you quietly cut him. I don't even think we ever referenced it on screen. Because you fired Venom and you said that he was in jail.
New Jersey jail.
Yeah. We talked about Rey Mysterio on screen, Warrior on screen.
You know what the problem was? I feel like my plan was to kill whoever lost that. But then the ring didn't explode. And so I'm like, well, I can't really say he died because he just got like pinned or something, right?
He got rolled up.
Yeah, he died from a roll up. You can't really go with that.
Before we go to another award, we have to close out your world title picture. Tell me what you expected from Kevin Nash and Kurt Angle, and tell me what you thought after.
I thought the match should have been rated higher, honestly.
What did it get?
I feel like this got like a 70 something, I think, low 70s maybe.
Okay, I thought it was higher.
I was thinking it was like 80s. I didn't think it was a 90s or a perfect match, but it was a lot more back and forth than I thought it was gonna be. Kurt Angle comes out, he squashes Bret Hart, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, why am I cursed with these champions? Because Kurt Angle won the belt in the 4-way fuckaroo, right? So we didn't really know what he could do. We couldn't really tell he was overpowered.
The Warrior Screwjob, a.k.a. the 4-way fuckaroo.
Hashtag cancel Ultimate Warrior. Look, I'm throwing screw jobs in. These are classic wrestling moments, guys. But I'm very happy Kevin Nash won.
Yeah. Now, did you think he was going to win, or did you go into that like, fuck?
I don't know. I was worried about the ankle lock for sure, but I knew if he hit him with a couple jackknives, that'd be it, But
I don't think
he won with a choke slam, right?
Dude, you're
like Kevin Nash.
He won with like mostly choke slams. I think the only person he beat with a powerbomb was Scorpion.
Wow, yeah.
Fucking powerbomb on a chair. But so now after BloodBath, Kevin Nash is your world champion. If we do a season 2, I have to imagine you're cutting Kurt Angle.
I don't know. People are mad that I fire all my champs, all my former champs. Maybe I should keep him. I'm definitely not putting him near the title picture.
Sure.
So yeah. I don't know. He helped me in the Sudden Death Series match.
He did.
Although he was the first one eliminated, wasn't he?
He was. He was the only one eliminated from your team. We'll get there.
Oh, weakest link. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely. We'll see.
So, heading into our next award is the GM Showdown Match of the Year. I don't have to read the write-up for this. Everybody knows what a Match of the Year is. So our nominees are Roman Reigns versus Kazuchika Okada at Beautiful Fucking Bloodbath. This was All-Star Collision 3. We have Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed Barbed Wire Deathmatch from Rainbow Roadblock. Randy Savage versus Johnny Cage 2. Stone Crow Mud Show. This was their Steel Cage rematch. And we have Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega 2 from Stone Crow Mud Show. This was All-Star Collision 2.
Good Mud Show. Pay-per-view of the year.
Mud Show was big time.
We didn't have a pay-per-view of the year, Paul.
That's all right. I feel like
good.
people don't remember. Who remembers the result of all 7 fucking matches, right? But did you vote in
best
this?
Named pay-per-view? That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like all our pay-per-views were excellent names.
I agree.
Designs.
And we have a question about that later.
Did you vote for this one, Match of the Year?
I did, and I feel like my pick, it wasn't my pick, but it should have been, Rocky versus Apollo in that barbed wire death match. That got a 99%, I believe, which blew me away, because I did not know how that was going to do. So that was probably my, biggest, what's the opposite of a disappointment?
A surprise.
Best surprise of the year was how well that did. But I'm looking at my phone, and I guess I voted for Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega 2 from Mud Show.
I think I voted for that also.
Well, that is fitting, because the GM Showdown match of the year is Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega 2 from Stoke Crow Mud Show All-Star Collision 2, man. You know what we can both hang our hat on? Is every All-Star Collision, I think, was the match of the night.
Yeah, they were all bangers, dude. And, I mean, honestly, Roman versus Okada, that's how you tied the series. That's how you snuck a goddamn win on beautiful Bloodbath and tied the whole show.
That match,
nobody saw that coming.
That match was so long because the artist was so slow as the referee. I think that was the longest match of the year. It was 38 minutes long.
Oh, man.
Ridiculous.
You had already given up inside. I could see you visibly dying inside. And then you're like, this match doesn't even matter. And then here it comes, and it's the reason why you had a chance to win it all.
Here's the thing. It was important to me to be honest while we were recording that, because one of the reasons that I don't like WWE and one of the reasons I don't watch WWE is because they make me feel like a fucking idiot. You know? I know shit, but they treat me like I don't know shit. So I did not want the Dandans to watch me being like, oh, I think I can pull it off here. I was like, mathematically, I'm out. And I was. The only reason I won was because I had the win and those bonus points.
Yeah.
And what were the odds?
Six bonus points or whatever.
I think 9. I think 9. And
I
won.
Just had 2.9s.
I think it was 3 because I won the show. I won Bloodbath by 3 points, and it was the final 2.9 that pushed me over the edge.
Because if it was a tie, I would have won.
Yes, you're right. Because it would have been, you would have won 6-5-1. I would have been 5-6-1. So
man.
And
I thought for sure I had you going into beautiful fucking Bloodbath, and I thought Okada could do it, honestly.
I did
but
too.
Either way, I thought either he would win or he would lose right away.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be a 40-minute epic match that would keep us on the edge of our seats, and I would, oh man.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, that's gone from
Move past it.
So let me see if we have further angles to go down here.
I'll tell you what, it felt good to win All-Star Collision 2. Felt good to see Kenny get that win back. We knew he could do it, you know?
Well, and the you know what's great, too, is I think...
He didn't hit One-Winged Angel in the first one.
And he lost. And I think Omega, for you, he only used it once. And it was to win All-Star Collision 2. So, I mean, there could have been a moment where someone kicked out of it on your show, and you could have been like, someone has kicked out of the One-Winged Angel! But it just didn't happen, and partially because he just didn't use the move. So.
Yeah, he kept using his old finisher, Coit's Wrath, that was the electric chair, German suplex thing.
Which he did to Roman 5 times on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
So... But, yeah, man. Oh, okay, so my world title scene, and then we'll do another award, is, man, we're getting through this pretty quick. The last episodes were 2.5 hours long. We're at the 1 hour mark. We're trucking. My world title scene for the last month was, I stole Savage from you, and I knew that I wanted to push him to the title. I wanted that to be a big thing for him. I was always kind of wondering why you didn't have him there, but in retrospect,
he lost his title match.
That's true. Okay, you did use him there. In my head, it was just okay, he beats Johnny Cage twice, And then he's teaming with Johnny Cage. But to your point, you're correct. You did give him a title shot, and Rey Mysterio squashed him. Which, clearly I forgot. Because Savage has a penchant for getting squashed in title matches, apparently. But
he can't win the big ones.
No, I did Savage versus Shawn Michaels on week 9. And I honestly thought Shawn would win. And he did not. Savage won. So then I do the Battle Royal.
That was a great rating, right?
Very good. I think it was low 90s or upper 80s. And that was what I was banking on. Just a banger singles match. Because I saw on your show that Savage was good for bangers. Like, Rey Mysterio, I just threw that out. So,
yeah, and then he gave me 200% versus Johnny Cage, you know?
So I do the Battle Royal, and I kind of worked it so that Shawn would win. That was my plan. So then I could get Shawn Savage too, and honestly, I did not give a fuck who won. It would have bothered me if Shawn won, because in my mind, just as a logical booker and more of like a kind of like a sports sort of thing, it's like, fuck, now it's 1-1. You gotta have that rubber match. You gotta have that trilogy to find out like who's the best. But Savage wins again. And this whole time I'm doing this thing, Scorpion's off TV. And I'm not just ignoring him, I'm doing this thing that he's lost in the nether realm. I don't even know if I have a world champion. When Savage Michaels 2 ends at BloodBath, I might just be handing the belt to Macho Man in the middle of the ring because there's nothing to do. Scorpion comes back on the go home. So I've got Scorpion Savage at BloodBath, and it fucking sucks. It's dog shit. Dandans, you can go back and watch that match. I'm literally like, I'm like this most of the time. And then when Scorpion hits that second or third Frankensteiner, it's like 1, 2, 3. And I'm just like, because
welcome to my world.
Yeah, how about it?
It sucks.
My world title picture for as much as I say that like, oh, Scorpion fucked me, it was kind of just this. Because like Scorpion had good
he
matches.
Gave you like 70s, right?
Yeah, 70s. And then I think
That's good.
I think Scorpion Roman and one of the Scorpion Austins, they were in the 80s. So the thing was just like, I had this whole running thing that like Roman and Austin were just, they were in my world title picture. And I used them for like a whole month. And then when I paid that off, I moved on to Savage and Michaels. And man, Scorpion just butt fucked me in that final match. That was probably my biggest disappointment of the year. Fuck Jackson CM Punk. Because I did Stone Cold versus CM Punk anyway. But that squash, that Ultimate Warrior-esque squash, I was like, God fucking damn it.
I gotta say, for me personally, I loved watching it because that's what you get for stealing my Macho Man. After I'm using him in the hottest story of the year. Oh man. Hey, so that's what you get. You steal him, and then he shits the bed for you.
Second hottest story of the year.
Oh yeah.
I'm just calling it like it is.
You fuckers voted Ron, just like when you voted for Trump.
Oh, I did not vote for
but,
Trump. Let's be clear.
It's funny, because you stole my John Cena too.
Yes.
And then he lost right away.
Hey, but he lost to Austin, and the only bad thing about that was it got a fucking 69. And it's like, dude, Cena Austin should not be. I booked that the same way I booked Austin, or the same way I booked Savage and Michaels. I was like, this is a high 80s easy. And then the match was good, and it just got a fucking bad rating. I don't know what happened there.
Hey, man, you should stop stealing my guys. Get your own guys, okay?
I don't book how the wheel spins.
You had the luckiest wheel spins.
Apparently not, because Cena and Savage.
You had so many free picks, so many steals. Oh my god!
Hey, Beetlejuice didn't fucking set your show on fire.
No, he got his shit to bed too. Didn't do what I wanted, but he delivered in the Psycho Circus match, and that's what I thought sealed the deal on beautiful fucking BloodBath. When I saw that get a higher rating than I expected, I'm like, ooh, I won this.
I was so annoyed by that.
I could tell.
That got like a fucking...
That was an 87 or something.
And no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Here's the thing, and I did not think about this. I think the explosion juiced the rating. And
Yeah,
it
happened like after 5 minutes or something.
Setting
right?
it so early, in my mind, I was like, if he sets this early and it double criticals them, this match will shit the bed. But it didn't critical anybody. And then the match ends like 2 minutes later and it gets an 87. And I was like, fuck you. That was not an 87. And that was a popular comment, too. People were like, are you fucking kidding me with an 87 on that?
Look, these people didn't know what they're talking about, okay? That was 87. I think it should have been a 91.
You know what, though?
With him yoinking his Beetlejuice bag.
That's what I was going to say is a good award if we do a season 2 should be finish of the year. And Beetlejuice squeezing the beanbag, Beetlejuice getting his beanbag squeezed by Doink, that's a finish of the year candidate for sure.
Either that or when Kurt Angle stole Cody's DNA, finish of the year.
God damn it.
But, you kept saying, why are they supposed to be friends? Why are they fighting?
Well, and see, that was the thing, too, was just like, that was one of the things that was just very clear that did not work out for you. Was...
No, I wanted them on the pay-per-view. I wanted Doink at least on the pay-per-view. I did that last Lifeline match. I didn't know how that was going to go. I was hoping Beetlejuice, Doink, and Matt Hardy would beat the Rhodes family and Trish, but it could have gone either way.
So
I booked that just because last Lifeline is funny.
It is,
and the Lifeline was phone a friend. But you're like, why is this happening then? Because it was then Doink versus Beetlejuice at the pay-per-view in a Psycho Circus match. But you know what? Friends fight. Look at Rocky and Apollo.
But it was thrown together, though. It was kind of like everything for you with that angle. Like, Beetlejuice lost, then they lost as a team, and then they win this Lifeline. It's like, okay, I want to do something with, fuck it, barbed wire exploding death match in the wrong ring.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But, Psycho Circus match has just got a beautiful ring to it. And I'm like, well, that's got to be a crazy match. It's called Beautiful Fucking Bloodbath. I want to deliver some blood.
And it did. It definitely did.
Burt Reynolds exploded. And he was down and bleeding, right?
He did. He exploded. Before we talk about Beautiful Fucking Bloodbath and Sudden Death series, because we kind of have touched on Bloodbath, so we'll get through that fast. We will now go to Wrestler of the Year. We will hand out the award for Wrestler of the Year. Now, what I wrote, my write-up for this was, Wrestler of the Year is a gigantic award, Dan. What do you value more? Scorpion's insane, undefeated streak as a singles competitor, or Kevin Nash's massive upset victory over Kurt Angle? Roman Reigns winning 2 out of 3 All-Star collisions cannot be overlooked. Think it over and cast your vote. So, our nominees are Scorpion, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, and Roman Reigns. Now, Kurt Angle, even though he did lose to Kevin Nash, and that's one of Kevin Nash's, that's Kevin Nash's biggest accomplishment, Kurt Angle still had a great, a dominant, not good for money ratings, but a dominant world title run, which is something that did not really happen on your show. That the title was hot potatoed, and then Kurt Angle fucking sunk his teeth into it. So I was like, this deserves a nominee. You know what I mean?
I thought for this one, you would just pick the guys with the most 100% matches. That makes sense to me for Wrestler of the Year. But I'm trying to think who had the most 100% matches. Might have been Macho Man, huh?
He was up
Johnny
there.
Cage was. Did anyone have more than 2 100%s?
I think Roman.
Roman
was up there, and he's nominated. But did you vote for this?
Probably.
I voted for Scorpion. I felt like he was the clear pick.
I don't think I voted for Kurt Angle. I don't think. I might have voted for Roman because he won you the show, and I think that made him the Wrestler of the Year for you. He won Beautiful Fucking Bloodbath that put it into a time mode. I don't remember though, but I wasn't too excited about any of these guys. I don't think any of these guys are Wrestler of the Year. Scorpion had a great record, but so what? Jade Cargill has a great record, you know what I'm saying? She's not putting out bangers. But I can't think of anyone else I would really put up in here, you know?
Well, see, that was...
Because even Macho Man had terrible matches, so...
This was the difference for me between Breakout Star and Wrestler. Wrestler was accomplishments. Breakout Star was, like, highly entertaining, consistent, you know, like, exciting, that sort of thing. That's how I broke it down. So, the Doinks and the
Maniacs...
Maniacs...
alone, it's got to be Scorpion, right?
Scorpion dominated. The biggest win... across the entire poll, Scorpion got 87% of the vote.
Oh, holy shit. What was his win record at the end?
7-0 in singles. I think it was either 7-0 or 8-0 as a singles. He did eat the pin
the three-way,
from
right?
Rocky on episode 3, but I just didn't mention that because
that was a tag match, right?
Yeah, I was pushing him as a singles guy. So I pulled a Paul Heyman, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. I would just talk about how he was undefeated as a singles competitor. But, yeah, Scorpion dominated 2023 GM Showdown Wrestler of the Year, Scorpion.
And it's so fitting because you're the Mortal Kombat guy, right?
Unfortunately.
You're the one who made the goddamn Mortal Kombat videos, pal. You can't be unfortunately at that. You shouldn't have done it. Go back in time. Delete History of Mortal Kombat, but then you want to get all these viewers. So
no, we wouldn't be doing this right now if
no,
if that didn't happen.
I think it's pretty crazy how powerful Mortal Kombat was on this whole program. Huh?
Yes, and one of the things about that is I got Smoke as one of my final signings, and I already knew what I was going to do for that final month. And I kind of did not want to fuck it up with an overpowered Mortal Kombat guy. So I threw Smoke in that Battle Royal, and I had him as one of the starters. Because I was like, he's got to be worn down by the time Sean comes in. So that was my plan there, and that worked out. But let's talk about beautiful fucking Bloodbath, the final pay-per-view that was booked before we had to do Sudden Death Series. I mean...
Yeah, going into it, I'm up 1.
Yes.
I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling real freaking naughty, you know? I'm feeling like I got this in the bag.
You're up
and then
6-5.
Disaster strikes. Miracle on Ice happens for Ian. And oh my god, it's a tie.
Well, we started. I've got it pulled up here. The opener.
You want to go match by match?
Yeah, and we don't have to. We don't have to stay on everything for a long time. But the opener was Rocky and Apollo versus Maniac and Scott Steiner, and this was me looking for the biggest payoff possible across the entire show, and it happened. Rocky pins Maniac with a powerbomb at like 34 minutes, I think. It was a long match, got a fucking killer rating, and in the moment, you can see it on the best of, or you can go back and watch that episode, when Rocky and Apollo win, I'm so excited, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck what happens from here on out. That's my favorite thing I've done this whole show.
I mean, honestly, for the viewers, for the Dandans, for everyone watching, this pay-per-view was just great. The whole pay-per-view through. Like, this
Banger.
probably, if you're in the audience for this one, you got your money.
Absolutely. The second match, so yeah, Rocky and Apollo win the Shockwave Tag Team titles.
New champs. The second match on the card is the Stone Cold Combustion Tag Team title match. You got the Quan Glee region of Sub-Zero and Reptile, who had been your tag champs throughout the entire series. Yeah, since episode 1, undefeated.
Going up against Kenny Omega and Bret Hart, who you kind of... Those are obviously two of your favorite wrestlers, and Bret Hart had lost to Kurt Angle, Kenny Omega lost to Kevin Nash, and you threw them together, and fucking lo and behold, they dethrone Sub-Zero and Reptile. Tell me about this match.
They beat Johnny Cage and Samoa Joe to qualify for the title match. And now going in, I thought no one's going to beat Quangli region. No one's going to beat Sub-Zero and Reptile. But they somehow pull it out. The Knuckleheads come out as new champs.
Great name.
We got feel-good moment of new champs back-to-back to start this pay-per-view. I couldn't believe it.
Now, you definitely expected Kenny Omega and Bret Hart to lose, right?
Yeah.
Did you have it in your head that you could get a good rating because they would put up a fight? Or were you just like, well, I got to have something?
I mean, I would hope it would get a good rating, but you never know with these fucking, dude, Reptiles spamming the Miz, Sub-Zero with his ice gut punch gimmick or whatever. I was my original plan was for this to be Doink Beetlejuice. I feel like they're wild card enough, crazy enough. You never know what's going to happen with them, that they might be able to pull off a win over such dominant champions as the Quangli region. But, Kenny and Bret, they both kept losing their big matches in the singles division, losing tag matches with other partners. I didn't think they could do it.
Yeah.
But I was proven wrong.
And,
I'm very happy about it.
Okada.
Until we found out it was a tie, and then we were going to be doing champ versus champ, and then I'm like, oh, no!
Fuck! Yeah, Okada and Omega lost to Matt Hardy and Shawn Phoenix. So Kenny had not, up to that point, did not have a good win-loss record.
No,
Singles or tags.
He only won, the biggest win of his career was Roman Reigns in All-Star Collision 2.
The third match on the card, second Shockwave match, was CM Punk, Iggy Pop in the cage. And throughout this entire show, I think we only did, out of 40 matches, we only had 4 cage matches. And I did Scorpion Austin and Punk Pop. You did Savage Johnny Cage twice.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people were giving me gruff and guff and snuff and muff for this. But,
hey, get
maybe
muffy,
not muff,
man.
maybe not muff, maybe not. But they're like, oh, you can't just throw Johnny Cage in a cage match. Listen, motherfuckers, his name is Cage. That's his specialty, the cage match. It's funny. If I had Nicolas Cage on my roster, he would only do cage matches. What? Oh my God, can you imagine Nick Cage versus Johnny Cage in the steel cage? Oh, Cage-a-thon.
One of my favorite moments was at Bloodbath. I go, what if Kurt Russell was on the wheel? And you go, you suck. Why is he not on the wheel? So Nicolas Cage.
Dude,
you know what? I want to throw this out there. I told him not to, but he would not listen. Fucking Dan Houser, Retro Station 1989, sent me a fucking $30 PlayStation Network gift card because and I told him, I don't even know if we're doing a season 2, but he was like, if you do, I want to sponsor the DLC. So he sent me this gift card to buy the DLC, which will get us another arena, and I can buy like the extra parts. So like the Mario and Yoshi, Luigi, Superman, all these people I downloaded that had broken parts so we couldn't use them, they'll all be usable if we do a season 2. So shout out to sponsor Dan Houser for that.
Nice. Hopefully someone's made a Kurt Russell and a Nick Cage. Because then I'm using my free picks and my steals on them. Spoiler alert now. But yeah, look, Johnny Cage belongs in a cage match. It makes sense. Macho Man, Bonesaw, it made sense.
Bonesaw is ready.
But I don't think we overused cage matches in the show.
No. I don't think we overused any gimmicks at all.
Maybe multi-man matches, but that's just because how it affected the ratings.
Yeah.
We didn't see that coming.
I kind of disagree that we overused it. But we have a question about that we'll take later. I don't need to go in depth on Punk and Iggy Pop. I already talked about it. Punk beats Iggy Pop, submits him with Anaconda Vice. That's what I wanted to happen. Although it would have been funny to have to change his name to CM Pop. But
yeah, that would have been good too.
From my point of view, with this month-long angle, I think I've gotten everything there is to get out of Iggy Pop. So if we do a season 2, he's on my chopping block for sure. I can replace him. But
yeah, I mean, you bring him in, he causes mayhem, and then he eats the pin, and then you say goodbye.
There he goes. Fourth match on the card was
Psycho Circus.
Psycho Circus. Doink the Clown versus Beetlejuice. Exploding barbed wire goddamn death match. Tell me about the Psycho Circus.
I mean, it's two guys that look like clowns. I kept saying how much Beetlejuice looks like Doink. You know, I kept calling them the wrong names. They look like clowns. That makes sense.
They got the green
Circus.
hair.
They got the green hair. Yeah.
So Doink goes over with the testicular claw.
Very happy about that. Doink getting his big win at the final pay-per-view. Because he's been causing mayhem throughout my whole show. But yeah, he didn't have that many wins, did he?
No. Well, and that's why he was up for Breakout Star of the Year. It's just like Johnny Cage. You know, those guys didn't win titles, but they always delivered. You know. So my question to you, and I guess the same thing could be asked to me about CM Punk, with Doink winning this huge high-profile match, if we do a season 2, would you be jumping right into Doink versus Nash for the world title, or what are you looking at? Just speculation, because nothing's on the books.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of having Doink continue to do some crazy stuff. I see a lot of weird storylines I could do. You know, there's a lot of weird shit Doink didn't even do that I thought of, and maybe I pull the trigger on that weird shit and go even weirder, darker with it. Or, you know, the Doink story is ended, and I make a star of some other character. You know?
So would you say
the face of my show in season 2?
Would you say Doink could be on your chopping block?
Absolutely, could be.
Wow.
Don't know if he will, but we'll have to see what's up.
See, yeah, you know what? That's an interesting thing. Is we had talked about this, and I think we both agree. Well, you said that Doink was the face of Shockwave. Or Doink was the face of Combustion. And for me, the face of Shockwave is Rocky and Apollo. Like, those are my guys. Some people could make an argument for Scorpion, or some people could make an argument for you that it could be Nash, because it's like, well, it's your world champion. He's the face of the show. But no, that's not how it works. It's not all about the gold, sucker. You know what I'm saying?
No. But, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to get anyone too excited for them to think Doink's going to end up world champion. Because, one, I just don't know if that's possible.
Well, and Doink,
I don't know if he'll win the big one.
The thing is, even if he doesn't win, or even if you don't put him in that situation, if I've got the pencil and Doink loses, it's just like, he's not the sort of character that needs the belt, you know? I
mean, even when I had him off TV for a while during the Alexa Bliss stuff, you know, and then he made his shocking return, you know, even... He doesn't necessarily have to be on TV to be part of a story, you know?
Sure.
As we now have learned.
I did that with Scorpion for like a fucking month.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of, 5th match of the night. What are you going to say?
Oh, I just want to say I'm happy Doink beat Beetlejuice, because that's just Combustion beating a Shockwave former champ, you know? That's always good.
Hi, Patrick. What are you doing? The CEO is checking in on the show. 5th match of the night, Shockwave World Title. Scorpion returns from the Netherrealm, defends the title against Randy Savage in a fucking horrible match, squashes Savage, runner-up for Disappointment of the Year. It was my biggest disappointment of the year. I don't even have anything left to say about it. It sucked. It's not what I wanted.
It was dog shit.
Hold on.
Speaking of dog shit, Patches might have to take a dump right now, Dandans. This is something that happens, okay? You may not know this, but with the anatomy of a dog, that small, you know, the time it takes to travel from mouth to hole, not that long. Not that long.
What happened was I left the dog gate to the kitchen open, and when I hear his nails on the floor, I'm like, what's he doing in there? He's going to cause ruckus. So, 6th match, I'm going to let you take it, because I got to go do something else for a second. But 6th match of the night, Combustion World Title. Kevin Nash challenges champion Kurt Angle. Go ahead.
Yeah, here we have just a classic David versus Goliath, except they're both Goliaths. And Kevin Nash, big daddy sexy, big time sexy Nash, Mr. Magic Mike himself. I wanted him to beat Kurt Angle. I wasn't sure if he would. But lo and behold, he comes out on top. I have new tag champs. I have a new world heavyweight champion. I'm pretty happy by the end of this regular card here of the pay-per-view.
I mean,
oh
how
my
could
God.
you not be?
Yeah. Kurt Angle, even though he didn't deliver the ratings-wise the mentions I want, I used him in some fun storylines, absolutely. So he was a great champ. I like how you did him standing on his championship podiums with those little stabs at Kurt Angle.
Well, that was the thing is, like, you described what it was, and then it was just on me to put a visual to that. And you said little statues, and I was like, I'm just going to grab Kurt Angle action figures.
It worked out better, yeah. I mean, your editing for the last bit of the season, I think, it got better as the show went on.
Definitely. Well, and we started to tell better stories, like more intricate stories with those descriptions, so it gave me more.
And I liked your breaking news cry on the lower third or whatever.
Yeah, those were
kept
fun.
Popping up. But yeah, Kevin Nash goes over. I got a new champ. The world rejoices. Not amazing ratings-wise. It got like 70 or something. I forget.
Somewhere in there.
But I thought it might have been an 80.
Seventh match of the night, main event of beautiful fucking Bloodbath, was All-Star Collision 3, Roman Reigns versus Kazuchika Okada. I thought it would be Roman Kenny 3. It did not happen. You switched it out. Roman goes over in like almost 40 minutes because the artist was so slow. The artist was the special referee, which was funny.
He might have fucked me, or I could have won it here, but the artist was so slow. Because I needed someone to win right away. It really didn't matter who won. But if the fact that it went so long pumped the rating up, and oh man.
It's funny that you bring up a referee fucking you, because I know that happened at Sudden Death Series, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Nope, didn't happen.
We will now announce another award before we talk about Sudden Death Series. This is our co-main event for the awards. Tag Team of the Year. So our nominees were Scott Steiner and the Maniac, long-reigning Shockwave Tag Team Champions. Sub-Zero and Reptile, long-reigning Combustion Tag Team Champions. Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, who had the entire season-long angle. They finish the season by beating Steiner and the Maniac, winning the titles. Or Bret Hart and Kenny Omega, who were the only team to go over Sub-Zero and Reptile. Did you vote in this poll?
Yeah, I think so.
Who'd you vote for?
I think I voted for Kenny and Brad.
I voted in this poll, and I voted for Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. The winner for Tag Team of the Year, and it was not close, the Quan Glee region of Sub-Zero and Reptile. So, in the eyes of the Dandans, regardless of them losing the titles in the final episode, their dominant run, the Dandans were very impressed with it. And that's interesting to me because they really were not that active. You spaced them out.
That's just they were such mean. I had to space them out. But I had some singles, some single stuff there. But yeah, I kept them protected, and by that I mean I protected my ratings by making them just kind of the final bosses at the pay-per-views, of my tag division.
That's why I feel like Steiner and the Maniac. I voted for Rocky and Apollo because that's where I'm
gonna be honest here. Hold on, you fucked this category up. No Doink Juice, no Pickle Juice, no Triple B's.
Well,
no Killer Clowns from Camp Crystal Lake.
Doink Juice.
No.
I'll tell you why. Doink Juice didn't do anything.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. When it comes to awards, Killer Clowns from Crystal Lake didn't do. They were 0-1. These teams
that didn't. Great name.
Yeah, okay, well, name of the year could be a category next year.
Pickle Juice, weren't they champs?
They were, but here's the thing. I feel like Pickle Juice would have deserved a spot over Kenny Omega and Bret Hart, But I can't put 3 of my teams and 1 of yours on the poll.
Here's my
That's
question.
not
Were you
fair.
only allowed to do 4 options?
No, but I felt like that kept it even.
Oh, you should have done like 6 for this one.
I think we would have wound up with a shitload of ties if I did.
Maybe.
You know, like
Maybe.
because here's the thing too is Sub-Zero and Reptile win with 48% of the vote. The runner-up was Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed with 25%. Steiner and the Maniac 1 vote below them, 22%. So my 2 teams were really competing with each other. And Sub-Zero and Reptile were your runaway nominee. But GM Showdown Tag Team of the Year.
Well, here's the thing. You got a lot of Mortal Kombat fans. You may not know this or not, Ian, but on your channel, on the 616entertainmentchannel.com, there might be a plethora of Mortal Kombat marks that watch your program.
So you're saying realistically, not belittling your team or your booking or your show, you think this
they
was
might have just picked them because they like Scorpion and Reptile.
You think there was a popularity thing?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what this sort of thing can boil down to, unfortunately.
I wonder how many people even realized the Quan Glee region name was a callback to that Clueless Combat video, you know?
0.
Probably no one got that reference, but you're missing out. That video is amazing. And,
Dude, Clueless Combat was amazing. So was Gesselmania, but I only did 1 of those. So, yeah, Tag Team of the Year, Sub-Zero and Reptile.
Do you think Quan Glee region was the Tag Team of the Year?
No. But I think...
I don't either.
I voted for Rocky and Apollo because that's where my heart lied because I was so proud of their story. Honestly, I think Tag Team of the Year was Maniac and Scott Steiner.
I think I even like Triple B's better than Quan Glee region just because they had the funny wardrobe storyline. They lost all their big matches.
That's the thing.
I kept them in the division longer than maybe I probably even should have.
So we are forced to do one last episode, Sudden Death Series, because it winds up in a 6-6 tie. And the idea is it's going to be my champions versus your champions, and a 4-on-4 elimination, and that's how we will determine a winner. The behind the scenes.
I just say, I didn't want to do another episode.
You were vehemently against this idea.
Yeah, very against it. I wanted to flip a coin. I kept telling Ian, just flip a coin.
You wanted to just leave it as a tie, and then you switched
go into
to
season 2.
Flip a coin. You did not admit until after we recorded Sudden Death Series, was you were like, I didn't want to do it because I thought I was going to lose.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Beautiful fucking bloodbath. I get these new champs. I'm happy they're my new champs. But then when I realized we got to go champs against champs, I'm like, oh no!
I wish I had Sub-Zero and Reptile.
No!
They paid off for you later, though, so
yeah, I mean, I still used them, which was smart of me. I wasn't sure that the 4 versus 4 elimination. That was it was hard to pick who was going to be on my team.
It was for me too. And here's the thing: you did not want to do it because you did not think you were going to win. I was not pushing for it because I was like, oh, I got that in the bag. Kenny Omega and Bret Hart versus Rocky and Apollo, I was like, that's either 50-50 or 60-40 Nigel. Scorpion Kevin Nash, I was like 80-20 sure Scorpion would win.
I was 100% Scorpion would win. I thought no one could beat him.
And then the 4v4, I was honestly probably 60-40 you or 70-30 you, because it was like, he has Kurt Angle, Reptile, and Sub-Zero ready for this match. So for me, it was just, I was hoping you would not pick them.
Yeah, no, I think we also talked about like doing another week, or I mean like
I pitched doing another month,
4 episodes, yeah. But then I think honestly, Sudden Death Series, I think is a great tiebreaker.
I think so. The thing is, a big piece of getting you to agree to do it was that these were exhibitions, they were unsanctioned, so they don't count toward anybody's record. That's why...
Yeah, I didn't want my champions to turn into jobbers.
Well, one loss doesn't make somebody a jobber either way.
Yes, it does on my show. You're fired. You're out of there. You're sent to the dog pound. We're putting you down.
But, see, that's the thing, is that's why no one ever has or ever will hear me brag that Rocky and Apollo beat Kenny Omega and Bret Hart, because it was unsanctioned. You know, it's non-canonical to their records. It was just...
Except Kevin Nash did beat Scorpion.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Every time.
You were like, I'll do it if it doesn't count. And now that you won, it's your favorite thing.
Now it counts. Yeah, absolutely.
So
you should have used another steal on Kevin Nash.
I don't book the fucking wheel. It's random.
It was on your computer. You might have.
I recorded the screen because I didn't want you to accuse me of cheating. Here's the thing. Rocky and Apollo beat Kenny Omega and Bret Hart in the opener, kind of out of nowhere. It was like...
It was like a camel clutch?
Yeah,
or something?
Rocky put a camel clutch on Bret Hart at the 14-minute mark, and Aubrey's just like, oh, ring the bell. And we were both like, what the fuck? Go ahead.
I thought for sure I had to win the tag match to even stand a chance.
Sure. Well, yeah, okay,
and then,
off camera, when I won that, you were like, well, this is over.
I'm like, oh, I'm doomed.
So then we do my world champion versus your world champion, Scorpion versus Kevin Nash. And it's funny that in the tag match, Kenny Omega and Bret Hart both got steel chairs. In this match, Kevin Nash gets out 2 steel chairs. He's hitting Scorpion with chairs, choke slam on a chair, power bomb on a chair, 1, 2, 3. And Kevin Nash goes over Scorpion in the upset of the year.
Biggest upset, yeah, by far. I don't think anyone thought Kevin Nash would win this. Just with how dominant Scorpion's been.
Well, see, that's the thing is, instead of me being sure Scorpion will win, I was 80-20. Like, I was still confident, but Kevin Nash beat Kurt Angle. And I would have been more confident with Scorpion over Kurt Angle. Kevin Nash beating Kurt Angle, I was like, fuck, that's an ultimate wild card.
He's got the size advantage now, you know.
Well, and I think a huge part of it was, there are 2 things. Scorpion hit Kevin Nash with a ton of power moves early, and I think he gassed himself. And the other thing is, and this is the referee thing I was talking about, and there's a question later that I won't use this answer, but it was like, what's your biggest regret of the year? It was my call for Aubrey to be the referee at Sudden Death Series. She is so fucking fast. 2.5 minutes into that match, Scorpion hits a Frankensteiner on Nash for a 2.9. That is unheard of. So then Kevin Nash hits the powerbomb on a chair, and Aubrey's like, 1, 2, 3, and it's just over because she's so fast. If that was the artist, it wouldn't even have been a 2 count. But
you know what's funny? I think when we were pitching the idea of SDS around, originally I think we said the referee was going to be a bear guy. And
then Don't Care Bear.
We were gonna call him Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think.
Then we forgot or something. And
I was just like, no, let's use Aubrey, and I fucked up because her speed cost Scorpion that match, for sure. No, not taking anything away from Kevin Nash, but
I think it was the choke slam on the chair, the power bomb on the chair. Yeah. My guys, I gave them pointers. I said, hey, do whatever it takes to win.
So then we get to the main event, 4 vs. 4 elimination, Team Shockwave versus Team Combustion. I chose Steiner, Maniac, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. And you chose?
I chose the Quan Glee region, name of Sub-Zero, Reptile, former champion Kurt Angle, and then wildcard Doink.
Yeah.
Can I talk about a little bit about the problem I had of choosing my team?
Sure, because that's what I was just going to bring up, so go ahead.
Okay. There was a lot of options I could have done here. I had Okada, who, well, he didn't beat Roman. He always put on tough bangers of matches.
Took Roman to the limit.
I had Johnny Cage. Mm-hmm. He's no slouch.
And he's a Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah. What if I just did all Mortal Kombat? But who else did I have? There was someone else I was throwing around in that.
The Rock.
Fuck. Yeah, The Rock, Green Lantern. There's a lot of. I thought for sure you would go with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who I was scared of the most.
Mm-hmm. Because
he beats me in 2 All-Star collisions, and here's another amazing collision. Figure that's where he'd shine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I kind of wish. This is when I was wishing I'd have those horrible OP champs like Warrior and Rey Mysterio,
There's a strategy that I went into the elimination match with that I have not spoken about publicly. I think I told you when we were texting, but everybody on my team have like vicious submission moves. Maniac.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
Maniac has his sleeper, Steiner recliner, Punk with the Vice, and Roman, although he never fucking used it, he has the guillotine, the jumping guillotine into the guard. And in my head, I was like, this is a long match, an elimination match. The clock is gonna go far, and we know from experience that after the 25-minute mark, if someone locks in a sub, it's over. So I was like, I'm going to stack my team with submission guys. That's kind of why I chose Punk over Austin. Because Austin was he was initially going to be on my team, but Punk had the Anaconda Vice. And,
$1 million dream.
Yeah, well, we never saw him use it, really. And then Roman really barely ever used the fucking guillotine. Maniac had an arm triangle choke that he used twice across the entire season. But the thing was, we got into the deep water, and my guys are doing their submission moves, and Aubrey's just give up, and nobody was tapping out. And as that was happening, I was like, oh, this is not working. My whole strategy, for whatever reason, the one match across the entire show, the submission rule just did not work, and my plan failed.
Well, here's the thing. I gave a rousing speech to the Combustion locker room, to Team Combustion, before the match. I told them, men, women, doinks.
Doinks.
We need this win.
You said, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, I'm right.
I need this win.
Yeah.
You don't give up. If you give up, you're giving up your life.
Oh.
So if they gave up, they were going to die. So extra motivation.
It also, and speaking of moves that were rarely seen, I feel in the All-Star collisions, our guys would turn it up and they would do shit that we hadn't seen them do. The same thing happened in this match. Reptile pulls out a brutality on CM Punk, which we had not seen the entire show. Maniac eliminates Kurt Angle with that arm triangle, which he used twice across the entire season, and I got that one submission, and I went, there it is. Now it's going to rapid fire.
I thought for sure which one of our teams, whoever goes out first, I thought was doomed, right? Because usually how this works is whatever team's down numbers-wise, then this isn't in real life where people book the team that loses 3 members to then come back and win at the end, right?
Yeah.
This is
competition.
This is the computer beating the shit out of each other, you know? The numbers advantage is big time, and you get my Kurt Angle out first. I'm like, no, that's my submission guy.
That's the thing is, for me, I was like, the ankle lock is out. The ankle lock is out. Now my shit is going to work. Fast forward, Kurt Angle's the only guy that I get off of your team at all. And then your Mortal Kombat guys just run roughshod on my team. Reptile rolled up Punk. I think Sub-Zero caught Scott Steiner in a something. And then Reptile caught CM Punk in a something. I don't know what happened. It comes down to Roman Reigns against basically your entire team. Doink hits him with the flying asshole. 1, 2, 3. And that's that on that.
And there we have it. And then, I win GM Showdown. Best GM of the year. Best Wrestling Booker of the year. Guys, hire me. I'll save your promotions. I'll save your feds. Ian, I'll tell you what. Roman Reigns is a superstar
Absolutely.
in this fucking gameoid. The way even when he tags out, he stays in the ring and hits like that fucking power bomb and shit. He's always doing extra damage before he gets out. It makes sense that he was the last one standing, but to lose to Doink, just sitting on him with the asshole.
Clown bound.
Yeah, we kept saying clown bound near the end of the show.
Here's the thing. It was against me, so I should not like it. But Doink getting the final pinfall of the series with the flying asshole could not have been better, and that's just the way it is.
So good, yeah.
But that
now, how did you feel about your picks? Would you have swapped anyone else out?
Yeah, I probably should have done Austin over Punk. But that's really the only one that I was wondering about. Like, I know that I could have taken out either Steiner or Maniac and put in Smoke, because I could have just banked on the fact that he was probably overpowered. But that's the thing for me is, like, I did not, across the entire show, I never cheaped out. You know what I mean? Like, I could have, there were times where I could have, but are you saying I did cheap out? How did I cheap out?
I'm just making gestures over here, okay?
The screens are mirrored for me, so you pointed to the side that I wasn't. But yeah, I was like, I would rather go with the guys that got me here. And Punk, Maniac, Steiner, and Roman, other than maybe Punk Austin, those were my clear choices.
You know, it's like that old saying, sometimes you gotta kiss the one that drove you there.
Or dance with the one that brought you.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it both ways. I've heard it both ways. You've never kissed your Uber driver on the lips?
No.
You will.
I think I've been in an Uber once in my life. But.
Yeah, but so this was high drama, this sudden death series. The whole pay-per-view there, that extra show. Very intense. Both of us nervous as shit as it's going down. You could just, that final match too, you just feel us going, oh no!
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. My guys just working so good together. Your guys were not even like breaking up pins. My guys were all coming in off the get-go. Yeah.
My guys did not. They were not there for each other the way that your guys were. So that's unfortunate. But we have one more award to hand out, and then we will take some Dan questions, and then we'll get the hell out of here and put an official bow on GM Showdown as a whole. But this one breaks down to favorite brand of the year. And the write-up was, this one is simple, Dandans. Which promotion did you enjoy the most? Were you a Shockwave soldier or a combustion cultist? I'd like to read your reasoning in the comments, so type something up. And without stretching it out too long, 616 Shockwave earned 62% of the vote to 38% for Stokro Combustion. And I think that, and you'll argue with this probably just because you think it should have been the other way, but I think that it's a compliment to you. Because if this was anybody else's channel and someone else came on and it was like a competitive thing, it could have been like 95-5. You know, because like it's just like, well, I clicked subscribe on this guy, so I'll vote for him. But your shit was so good, that was not an option. There were people who showed up not just because they're your friend or they know you. There were people who were like, oh, this looks fun. And then they were like, oh, I'm a combustion guy.
All my friends and pals didn't watch the goddamn fucking show.
Hey, well, most of my friends didn't watch it either. Most of my friends don't watch anything I do. So.
No, I'm happy that a lot of Dandans came over to Team Combustion. I'm proud of what we've done. Look, being the minority, I always knew, it was your channel.
Sure.
I've been fighting powerful white men like you my whole life, Being an independent scumbag musician. But look, I'm honestly, A lot of guys, a lot of people who've watched the show have come into my Twitch streams and been hanging out, joining the Crow community, and man, I love it. All my combustion cultists, I love you. We did it. This is for all of us. Shockwave soldiers, you're going to be buried in a nameless mass grave, and there's not going to be even a memorial wall for you.
So,
but I figured you'd win this poll, for being honest.
I'm happy I did. You won Booker of the Year, so I'm glad I won Favorite of the Year. Give me something, you know.
Yeah, you need something.
Ryan Solusad. I've never said your name out loud, Ryan, so I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. He wrote up on Patreon, "Damn, that's a tough one. You both had some stories that cracked me the fuck up. I might have to rewatch the whole series before I vote." So I don't know who Ryan voted for. Dan Hauser wrote, "I made a 616 Shockwave party video. Gotta vote Shockwave."
Yeah, but you also got that copyright strike.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Son of a gun.
Josh Kerwin, loyal Shockwave soldier, writes, "Don't get it twisted. I enjoyed both promotions a lot. That being said, however, I found myself a bigger fan of Ian's bookings, primarily because he seemed like he was paying more attention to long-term storytelling from the very beginning than Nigel was. No offense if I got that wrong, Nigel." He continues, "To be perfectly honest, the whole season felt an awful lot like a WCW versus ECW sort of deal. Like ECW, Combustion was great, but Shockwave, like WCW, is where the big boys play."
Didn't WCW go out of business?
After ECW did.
Yeah, but I had Chris Candido, right?
No, at that time WCW had him.
Son of a...
And then he died in TNA.
Look, this whole I don't have long-term storytelling doink wins me the show with an asshole pin.
Yeah, but that was happenstance.
Hey, the best long-term stories are up to the whims of the winds. You know what I'm saying?
We have one more.
A lot of people were praising you at the beginning for your tournaments.
You hated
that. I think from that point on, they're like, "Oh, Ian's logical and stuff." But honestly, your booking near the end is what I like the best from you.
Sure, I thought I got better at the end too. Where I felt at the end, I felt like you became more of early me. You started,
oh no, absolutely not. I'm not early you.
You straight up did, because you started doing more like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Whoever wins will face whoever wins." And then
I always, my whole show from the beginning, wins mattered most of all, guys. I like wins. Look at this. The people that lose are gone. They're gone.
We had one more write up on this, which was, this is from Guy Solo 1991. "I went with Combustion because from the beginning," well, this is what he wrote. "I went with Combustion because from the beginning, because I figured Nigel's unorthodox booking was going to be what the game liked, but it was kind of a tie, so what do I know?"
Yeah, fair enough. The show ended in a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was definitely planning to bring in a lot of unusual storylines into the show. It's stuff I wish I could see in wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I delivered on that.
So what we'll do now is I put up I tagged everyone in the 616 Entertainment Discord, which there's a link to in the description. Anybody can join it. And I asked the Dandans for their thoughts, their questions, their comments on GM Showdown as a whole. And we are going to take those now. Now I'm going to have to click on that on my screen, so it's going to fuck up the video. So I'm just going to put the best of video over this portion of the show. So you can just listen from here on out if you want. Doesn't really matter. But let's get into some of these Dandan write-ins here from the Discord. Let me see. I'm in the wrong section.
We got a comment here from some kind of robot, Mike Masters. He says, "I've changed my mind and I've become a combustion cultist."
You're an evil man and you're a liar. So here we go. Nope, I'm still in the wrong spot. Here we go.
Well,
okay.
Cut this.
We got Doc Friday 97. And he says, "Why did Nigel steal Nash? What an asshole. Handsome, but what an asshole."
Well, you're right about one thing there. I am an asshole. But not for stealing Nash. Not for stealing Kevin Nash, okay? And listen to this. Doc Friday, he didn't even watch the show, I feel like.
I don't think he did either.
You son of a gun. Part of the stakes was that I'd be his new hero. Now Ian's no longer his hero. I am. So I'm going to teach you that TikTok and YouTube Shorts and videos filmed the wrong way are bad news. Sure. I'm going to teach you all the good stuff like Kurt Russell and Judas Priest. So get excited.
We got Stiv, who writes in with, Nigel, just wanted to know how it feels to be sitting next to a thief right now. Do you look at Ian differently now that he tried to steal your big, sexy Kevin Nash boy?
I'm going to be honest. I'm legit mad at him for doing that. And I texted him many times over the weeks. And there was moments of anger.
Sure.
So picture me sitting in like a dark garage drinking whiskey, just thinking of, this guy stole my Kevin Nash, this motherfucker. Yeah, our friendship is lessened because of it.
Absolutely. We got Sir Spin 2112. I thought the shows were great, and while the squash matches sucked, it happens and is out of your guys' control. I would say going forward to have only one multi-man a pay-per-view set, just to keep the scores from being able to be taken advantage of. So what do we think about that? We had talked about, if we do a season 2, there should be some sort of limit on multi-man matches because they were easily exploitable.
The best rated matches, yeah.
Easily exploitable.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little gentleman's agreement until you broke it.
No.
Yeah, you broke it.
Absolutely not that I break. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get back to Sir Spin, but there is a question that came through here somewhere. Let me find who said it. Okay, so Red Comet 13, Loyal Shockwave Soldier, asked, was there a point where you guys got legit mad at each other over booking / roster signings / steals? I definitely got annoyed at the end because I did a Royal Rumble in the final month, and you were like, he's doing multi, and then after all that stink, you panicked and did 2 multi-man matches on the very next episode, and that's the only time anyone has done 2 on one episode. So I was legit annoyed about that.
3 versus 3 tag team is not a multi-man match. That's a tag team first fall. It's not an elimination match. It's a regular tag team match.
You put 6 guys in the ring.
Regular tag team match. Trios match. First fall, motherfucker.
First of all, it was a match that had no heat.
Let me be clear here. The problem with the multi-man matches was once you make them elimination, they go on forever and get a huge rating. You know, all that drama and stuff. It's just a regular tag match. I just had other people in for storyline reasons. That
excuse holds no water because your Warrior Screwjob was 100%, and it was not elimination.
That's because I made it not elimination because I was worried Warrior would eliminate everybody.
But that just goes to show a bunch of guys in the ring it's gonna pop.
Yeah, but that's a 4-way. That's not a tag match.
So yeah, 4 guys is gonna pop. So you put 6 out there. I'm just saying.
It's a regular tag match, dude. It's a regular tag match.
I would not have.
It's a regular tag match.
I would not have called it out or been annoyed about it if you did not make such a big stink and accuse me of breaking the agreement based off of a Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble's bullshit, and you know it. Now, a lot of people may not have picked up, but I was doing a lot of the pot calling the kettle black throughout this series. I would besmirch Ian for things I was doing the exact same way. So a lot of people didn't realize that, but that was just good content.
Sure.
Good bit. But no, I do think we need some sort of multi-man rule. Absolutely.
And if we do a season 2, we'll figure that out. Back to Sir Spin. Who's the dream wrestler / character that you would want on your rosters going into season 2? You said Nicolas Cage and Kurt Russell. I really have put no thought into it. I just am excited at the prospect of spinning the wheel again.
Spinning the wheel was the most fun part of the show, absolutely.
Yeah.
People don't even know because it wasn't part of the show visually. It happened off air all the time. But yeah, I think I would want more fantasy characters, not necessarily wrestlers.
Yeah.
There was a bit where I was having too many wrestlers on my roster. That's why I traded for Green Lantern for you and stuff. I feel like storyline options, I might have more possibilities if I just have random movie characters or actors or musicians, stuff like that.
Sure.
Probably what I'll focus on if we do a season 2.
I would love to, with the Dan Houser sponsorship of the DLC, I would love to be able to get like Mario and Luigi and Yoshi and Bowser. I want more fantasy characters too. Like everybody.
I feel like I had all the wrestlers that I kind of could have wanted. I had Kenny Omega, I had Okada, I had Kevin Nash, I had Kurt Angle, Bret Hart. Dude, I was stacked. I had Rey Mysterio. But a lot of the wrestlers were overpowered too. So I'm like, fuck.
I felt the same. Like, if we had a straight up draft, I would have grabbed CM Punk. I would have grabbed Stone Cold Steve Austin. I would have grabbed Roman Reigns. I traded Johnny Cage to you for Roman Reigns because I was like, that's money. I want that money guy on my show. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Sir Spin's last question is, which ring are you most proud of design-wise? Now, we made a joke out of the fact that you had designed the combustion ring when I designed all the rings in actuality. My favorite, it's either I like the idea of the rainbow roadblock ring. I think it's kind of ugly though in hindsight. I like the rainbow around the ring, that's cool, but the posts and the ropes and shit are terrible. I missed an opportunity with the ring aprons.
You know what? Yeah, what if the ring aprons were the rainbow?
Yeah, I fucked up.
That might have been good.
I fucked up big time. So I think my favorite is easily Sudden Death series because the older I get, the more I like the color orange. And I think orange is an underrated color, and no one has an orange wrestling. Yeah, well, he was in a coma, and then he woke up, and then...
You know what's funny? In like the last couple episodes, we totally forget that Taz woke up from his coma.
You put him in the four-way fuckaroo, and I say, I think Taz has been off TV longer than anyone, and you go, well, he healed up.
It's all healed up.
We got Steve...
Hold on. Let me tell you my favorite.
Oh, sorry.
I do like the final version of Sudden Death series. The earlier versions, we were going back and forth. I was telling you some ideas. What you did at the end there, I think it pops pretty well with just a big skull.
Sure.
SDS, I think, is great chantable SDS, Sudden Death series, I think, is a better name than Survivor series.
Absolutely.
I think everything we do is better than the WWE.
There's no doubt.
Now, that being said... I like the mud show ring the best, just for the joke of the piss and the shit.
It's so purposely
being a carny
ugly.
Mud show, yeah.
Well, what's funny too is like we went with the joke that you had designed the ring when I designed it, and then the other thing that was funny was we have the back and forth of me saying like I'm getting a strong piss and shit feel. And that was the thing that I had pitched to you before we recorded, and we just enacted it, was I was like, I'll say this, and then you say, that's not piss, it's championship gold. That's not piss, that's the brown, like the leather strap that holds the belt. But in the moment, you forgot. So you're like, that's not piss, it's championship gold. And I go, what about the shit? And you go, that's not shit, that's championship brown. So then I go, oh, like the leather. And you're like, yeah.
Championship brown, guys.
Gotta love it.
That's a new color. Yeah.
The
I
BloodBath ring was
just having a weird shit and piss ring made it pop, honestly. I like the rainbow roadblock one, though, too. Just seeing rainbows. I love rainbow.
I do, too. It's on my shirt.
Also, beautiful fucking bloodbath. Well, simple, was elegant.
Loved it.
I think I like it a lot for the American movie reference alone, but I think it was a great ring.
It was.
All the rings you made were great. Round of applause for Ian, guys. Leave a comment now.
What was
your favorite ring, Dan Dans?
I kind of want to do a season 2 just to make more rings.
That'd be fun. And come up with new pay-per-view names.
Yes.
I feel like all our pay-per-views had great names, too.
Well, we have a couple that we wrote down when we were brainstorming Sudden Death series. I pitched Calamity, and you were like, that's good, but not for this. And then we were spitballing, and we came up with False Finish Line, which I think is very cool. It could be like a checkered flag style ring, but we'll see. We got Steve Mariani 723. He says, thank you both for a spectacular season. I'm a Shockwave soldier for life, but have to give credit to Nigel, really hoping for a season 2. Number 1, if you could have added one specific wrestler to your roster, who would it have been and why? We kind of took this earlier and I said I wasn't sure, but I mean, it would have been... You know what? Why don't I pull up the wheel and just take a look at it? Is there a certain person on the wheel that you would have wanted?
I remember wanting Matt Nix.
Yeah, you know what? I was looking at his name while you said that.
I wanted Marvelous Matt Nix on the wheel. Not just because he's my friend in real life, but I could tell some good stories of hurting my friend in real life, you know?
There were a couple here. I wanted Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee would have been great.
I wanted the Grinch. I wanted Spider-Man.
I think on the draft podcast, we went over like how the Grinch would be an ultimate heel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And those are on Patreon if anybody wants to listen to the prior ones. I really wanted Malachi Black.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of ones that I wanted.
Sting. I think we both wanted Sting until we realized how dangerous submissions are to ratings. And once I did that submission match, I think we're both like, I don't want Sting anymore.
The one that put Taz in a coma.
Dude,
Steve,
I'm so disappointed that submission match was a bad rating. Oh.
Steve Mariani continues, what was your favorite / least favorite storyline or moment from your opponent's show? So, my favorite thing that you did was easily Alexa Bliss and Doink. Which was...
Dude, it was so good we had a fan send in their own face reveal image. Wasuji sent in an image to me that was Doink, Alexa ripping off her face and becoming Doink.
So good. That's my favorite thing that you did.
What's your least favorite?
My least favorite thing that you did? I mean, I'm annoyed that you pulled Kenny from All-Star 3. I wanted that trilogy. But yeah, that's about it. When I was watching Combustion, I was just along for the ride, you know? Like, I was genuinely having fun, especially, and I know this wasn't the same for you, like, you hated, like, when I started using John Cena and stuff. I loved seeing what you would do with Beetlejuice. And it felt that was just
a bit. Like, I know. If you steal my John Cena, I want him to win the belt.
Yeah.
You know? Then I can say that's
then
my
guy.
Then
you can brag.
Yeah, that's my guy. But my least favorite part of your show isn't necessarily a match per se. I just didn't like you ran both tournaments at the start.
Yeah.
I like tournaments a lot. I'm a big tournament guy. The G1 Climax highlighted my life. But you know, AEW had a problem where they ran too many tournaments back to back, and I feel like you did that a little bit. I feel like if you had the heavyweight tournament at the start, and then maybe in the second half of the show you did a tag tournament, I would have been fine with that. But too many tournaments at the start.
What was your favorite thing I did?
Iggy Pop, CM Punk.
Okay. Number 3, what's your biggest regret of the season? My biggest regret of the season was saying Aubrey should be the referee for Sudden Death series. But I also, and I mentioned this on a prior GM Showdown podcast, I wish that I did not have everything so set in stone, or at least I wish I had Lita before I had everything set in stone. Because I only used her once, and she was money. I think I had money in Lita, but it was just too late to really commit.
And she had that moonsault across the world.
Oh, yeah.
My regrets, obviously, were giving Rey Mysterio a title shot, giving Ultimate Warrior a title shot, giving Kurt Angle a title shot.
Sure.
I regret Warrior the most, but then I got the nice cancel Warrior and the Screwjob story, which was fun. But ratings-wise, that screwed me.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Jason a little too early, maybe. But I wanted to have some, high-stakes life and death matters. People being gone, getting fired. Maybe I should have kept Venom, too. Instead of let him rot in a New Jersey jail.
Last one from Steve Mariani. Are there any rule changes you'd like to make for Season 2? We talked about figuring out a multi-man thing, but I haven't really put major thought into this because we have not discussed a Season 2 yet, so I don't really have an answer for this at the moment.
I think for the most part, we structured the show pretty great.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the expanding rosters as the weeks go on, being able to spin and add more, open to trades, I think that worked out great.
Yeah.
I think maybe the bonus points we might have to rebalance that a little bit.
Sure.
Because what was undervalued? Like the knockout critical or
criticals were
finishers?
Under, stolen finishers were way over. That's about it. People thought that we overvalued 2.9s, but I kind of like that 2.9s are worth 3.
I like it, yeah.
Because it can change the entire flow of a show.
Bonus points won both of us several weeks,
Sure.
Just due to the bonus points. So.
Destino is Dan Danger says, what's your favorite moment that wasn't in the best of video? And he says, I haven't watched any of the series. I promise I will at some point. It sounds so fun. So Destino's Dan Danger has no idea what we're talking about at all.
But they watched the best of or didn't?
He didn't watch any of it.
Well, what the fuck?
I think all of my favorite moments are in the best of. Dude, that video, nobody knows this. That video took like 8.5 hours to edit, and I did it in one sitting, and I was up until like 7 in the morning getting that ready for it to premiere at 10 a.m. that day. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. But yeah, my favorite shit was in there.
I can't think of a moment that wasn't in there. I think you did a great job with the best of.
Thanks.
You spaced it around too, so it was
Yes.
fun and fresh. It wasn't all the same bits right next to each other.
Cake is low
Man,
6.
well, hold on. Let me just say
sorry.
that watching it back, though, we are the best commentary duo.
There's no
better
doubt
than
about that.
Excalibur and Taz. Better than JR and Jerry the King Lawler.
There's no doubt.
Better than Heenan. Better than Schiavone.
Skiavone.
Yeah. They need us on TV. Imagine the weird stuff we could say on TV.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, but we have K Kizlo 6, loyal combustion cultist. How does Nigel feel that his Kevin Nash was stolen from him? But on the real, thanks for the great content. It was super fun to watch. I don't watch wrestling on a weekly basis, but I made sure to tune in every Wednesday. Combustion cultist for life, baby.
We did it. We brought it home. She's coming home. Woo! Caw! I think this show is better than weekly wrestling. Honestly.
It is. And to echo that sentiment, we have Some Kind of Robot, a.k.a. Mike Masters, loyal Shockwave soldier. First off, Nigel, how's it going being Doc Friday's new hero? What are your plans for your new disciple?
I'm teaching him about Kurt Russell, Judas Priest, and the proper video formats and aspect ratios, pal.
He says, B, how much counterfeit Monopoly money did it cost for you to pay off Scorpion to take a dive in the Sudden Death series?
I didn't have to pay Scorpion, okay? I just had to tell Big Sexy, hey, do it for Combustion, pal. And he did it.
Number 3, and I love that he put first off, B, and 3. Not sticking to convention, not at all, which definitely on purpose. Mike Master says, I love this show so much, and the banter with the Dandans on Discord was some great times. Thanks for the amazing entertainment, and like I always say, this was their... Okay, this is how I'm going to fix what he wrote. Someone always has to butcher something.
Hey, it's a classic Shockwave soldier.
He says, like I always say, there was no better time spent on anything wrestling related than GM Showdown. Hashtag GM Showdown for life. How about it?
You know, I think everybody that watched the series from start to finish got a lot from it. I think we delivered. I think everyone loved it that watched it. I wish more people watched it now.
Yeah, me too.
But everyone that watched, and especially the guys that, everyone who bought a shirt and participated in the brand warfare.
Absolutely.
You know, there were a lot of arguments in the Discord. It was a lot of fun. I think it was a blast.
It was. Red Comet 13, loyal Shockwave Soldier. He asks, how did the Dracula storyline came to be? And that's actually a good question. And the answer to that...
I do love your Dracula bit, too. I gotta say, that popped me hard.
I'm glad. Originally, that was going to be... John Cena was going to be under that spell, and the John Cobra, John Rambo thing, that was going to be Green Lantern. But in his yellow Sinestro sort of outfit. And I decided to not do that, and I slotted in Dracula, who I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. I traded Green Lantern to you for Charlotte, and it's a good fucking thing I did, because that Green Lantern does not have a Sinestro outfit. So there would have been no excuse for why I had a superhero doing a super villainous thing. I would have been fucked. So it's a good thing that I switched over to Dracula, but yeah, that was originally going to be Sinestro, Yellow Ring, Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern. But I swapped to Dracula.
The piss ring.
Yeah, what's the other ring for? Piss!
I don't know shit about Green Lantern, but you know what? He put on some good matches for me, so I love him.
He fucked Blake Lively.
I love him even more.
So we got Red Comet 13 continues. Are there any storyline ideas from either side that did not make it to TV? I will say no, because I booked way ahead of time. So I wish I would have had more space to do something with Lita. And I will absolutely keep Dolph Ziggler and Charlotte if we do a season 2, because I see money in them. But it was just too late in the season to really factor them in as major players.
I had a million story ideas. It was hard for me. Sometimes I didn't know what to do just because I had so many options. But being beholden to the wins and losses definitely changed my plans number of times.
Sure.
I'm not going to reveal what the original plans were necessarily, because there's stuff that if we do a season 2, I already got cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I already got it cooking, and maybe we'll see it pay off in the season 2. But man, now that I could know what you could do editing wise, too. Yeah. That's a big thing. When we were filming, we didn't know what the show would look like.
No.
You know?
In the moment, I didn't know what it would look like.
That's what I'm saying. As we were filming it,
yeah.
You know, writing the storylines and booking all this shit, we didn't know what the possibilities were. Now, seeing how great season 1 was, sky's the fucking limit.
Absolutely. Red Comet.
I might book the artist driving his Honda into a river. And then we got to film him do that in real life and say it's for the show. It's for the good of the show.
For the good of the film. Red Comet 13 closes with, was there ever a point where you guys got, oh, we already answered that one, got legit mad at each other? Let's see, Turncoat Shy, because he's a turncoat because he was a Shockwave soldier who turned to the Combustion Cultist side. He asked for favorite storyline. We've already answered that. Have you guys decided if you're doing a season 2? No, we have not. We both want to. The thing is, and I'll put us back on camera for this. The thing is, the viewership just fell off a fucking cliff. And, like, I don't want to say that. It's, like, embarrassing to say. But if you go back, episode 1 probably has, like, 5,000 views. And by the time that we were done, we were pulling, like, 1,500 an episode. So that's not just, like, oh, people aren't watching. That means people who were watching have lost interest and they've bounced off and they don't want to watch it anymore. It was only 12 weeks long until we added the 13th. So it's like, for as a lot of people don't know that those were 12 and a half hour shoots. You would come over at like 4 p.m. and then you would leave at like 5 a.m. Those were a full fucking day. That was a ton of work. And it's like, if the viewership's not there, then what the fuck are we doing? You know? So that leads me to, we could do a season 2 and we just put it on Patreon. So that way the people who really like the show, they will show up. And I don't have to worry about it like potentially harming the other stuff that goes on the channel. And some people might not like that, and they might be like, oh, you would paywall it. It's like, what choice do I have, you know? So,
look, I'm still hoping maybe people will finally catch up and watch the rest of the episodes. I don't know what happened. I don't know what people want, dude. This is the best show on your channel. It's the best show I've done. What the fuck could you guys want?
I don't know.
Maybe we get some babes to play our avatars on the show.
Well, I will not that's funny. I will not reveal what happens on 6/16/2023, the All-Star Game of Champions, but I pitched an idea for a future Monopoly game. That's like, what if we'll just have an all-girls game, and it will be the first one where everybody's on camera, and it'll do record numbers.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe people thought it was too long. I don't think it was long. Each episode was about an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, that's too long. Maybe these TikTok attention span fucks, this Gen Z crap, the millennials, the boomers, with no attention spans these days, can't watch a 3-hour movie, gonna complain that the 3-hour movie's too long.
Well, that's what drives me nuts, too, is people are like, it's too long. Fast forward to them on TikTok like this for 2.5 hours. You know?
I don't know, man.
But, you know.
I'm the exact opposite. If I was just watching this show, I'd be all in on this show.
Yeah. Turncoat Shy Shy closes with, thanks for making my Wednesdays memorable when the show was on. I mean, 616 Thunder does it too. But yeah, man, you guys killed it. Awesome. So, yeah, in closing, thank you to everybody who voted. Thank you to everybody who wrote in the Discord, on Patreon. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody who bought shirts. Thank you to you for doing this show with me. People had asked me forever to do a GM mode show, and I was like, well, I don't want to do it single player, and I don't want to just do what Austin Creed and Tyler Breeze did. I want to do an original thing. Took me forever to come up with an original idea, and then I was like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do this with Nigel. So, thanks for being down for 12.5-hour shoots, because fucking nobody else would be. So...
Hey, no problem. You know, I'm just, I'm looking to do as many collabs as possible. I thank you for the opportunity of being on your channel now that it's blown up. I mean, I got a lot of new followers on Twitch. A lot of Dandans have come over, and I appreciate that exposure. It was a lot of fun, more importantly. And then, you know, winning is, it felt so goddamn good. You wouldn't know anything about this.
You've wiped your entire last name off the trophy now.
Don't move past it. Move past it. Maybe I'm wiping the slate clean for season 2.
Oh,
I don't know.
How about that?
But This was an amazing show.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it.
It's a beautiful show.
And the thing is, it's such a bummer that the viewership was dropping off, and that it was so short, because I was having more fun with it as time went on. It's not an exaggeration to say that most nights I fall asleep listening to a podcast because it keeps me from overthinking shit. But while we were shooting this show, I was falling asleep going like, okay, so on week 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Punk against Roman. Like, I was like putting this stuff together in my head. And I fucking love GM Showdown. So how about that?
You know what? This just goes to show you. We're going to have to start our own wrestling promotion where we get the book.
Absolutely.
And call commentary.
Hey, man, if this channel blows up and I actually make a little bit of money, let's do it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I already got Sean Phoenix on my roster.
Absolutely. There you go.
Answer your phone. Answer your phone, Sean. I'm not a carny.
The only real-life crossover. How about that?
That was great, yeah.
But Dandans, this has been GM Showdown. This show is officially done now with this final podcast, officially on ice. Nigel Bravo Booker of the Year, General Manager of the Year. He's got the trophy to prove it. We love you very much, and we will see you next time.